Hi, welcome. So, we've looked at lots of interesting things in Python like basic data structures, looked at conditionals and functions, and in the last video we looked at try and except. In this video, we are going to look at something interesting, which is classes. Remember, Python is an object-oriented programming language, and understanding how classes work is a very good thing to know in Python. So we are going to go to the computer, and I'm going to show you how to create classes so that you should be able to appreciate where things like methods like .upper, .lower come from when people create packages and we import and we are using. So let's just go straight to the computer and get an introduction to classes. So here we are going to create a class here. So I'll just define a simple class and then we are going to see how to build on from there. So here we can just call a car, and in Python, a class, the very powerful thing about Python is objects are defined like you have this class. So I can say these are animals, and then some of them can fly, some of them can run, some of them can swim. So you try to create things like objects and just give them some predefined attributes and then methods that when anybody just calls that class, instantiates that class, that creates an object with that class, with the characteristics of that class, it will just inherit all the properties of that class. So if we just call it, it will say, okay, this thing can be able to run, or it has 4 legs, or whatever. So if you're creating like an animal class, you would just say animals, number of legs, just tell me if it can run or if it can fly or if it's a carnivorous. So the class concept is about creating an object, predefining it so that somebody can just take it and quickly create an instantiate an object and start using it immediately without defining from scratch what is run, what is stand, what is the leg, what is flying. So just it might be a bit abstract for an absolute beginner, but it's very important to at least understand how it works. So let's just go on and create this car class with some attributes like year, brand, price. There could be so many attributes that you could attribute a car, that you could define a car with, and then we are going to use it to learn and appreciate what classes and object-oriented programming in general bring to the table. So I'm just going to go a def underscore underscore. That's how you create a class in Python. You say def underscore underscore init, and then the first thing is you put now the self. So the self, if you're using JavaScript, that will be equivalent to this. So but the self in Python we use self. So and then you can say the car has a brand, has a year, and then it has a price. So there could be many things you could define in a car: consumption, horsepower. There are so many things, but let's leave it to this. Leave it at these three here. So the first thing is that you need to be able to like tell the class that when I pass in a brand, accept it to become your new brand name. So if I tell you that the brand name here is Mercedes, anytime we call the car or the object dot brand, give us the Mercedes as response. So that's what you're doing here. This is how you create a class. So just you get used to it over time. It might be strange to you for the first time, but just with practice you'll understand it. So you have to use the self dot for all the attributes that you've defined above. So this is a simple class with no methods, just attributes. Now, which means that I could create a Mercedes car from this class. So maybe we just bought a Mercedes into the warehouse and we want to register it. So we'll say the brand is Mercedes. Then the year is 2000. So I'm using a keyword argument. Remember, we looked at this in functions. And then the price is maybe 50,000, for example. So if I run this, I have already instantiated that object with the attributes from this class. So now I can check what is the brand of this. So let me see here. Put my R here. tells me that is the brand. What is the year of production? It tells me that is the year. And then of course, what is the price? So I've just quickly created a new object just by leveraging this class, and we could create thousands and millions of objects, cars with different brand names, different year of production, different prices. So it's very interesting to understand how to use classes. Now let us add methods to this, because now it was just attribute, and then you can start seeing how we came up with methods like dot lower, dot upper for strings and interesting things like that. So to add a method now, you just go under, give the name of the method. It's just like you're creating a function. Remember, we've looked at functions in Python, but the major difference is you have to first write this self comma before you pass in any parameter or argument. Remember, these words are used interchangeably. So we want to say we can change the price of the object by passing in a new price, and then the self dot price that is currently stored here would now become the new price. And then we return now our output. What we want to see and what we want to store for reuse is the price. So if I go here, we return the self dot price. Now we could also create a second method, and then we say the discount is self dot discount, first argument discount. Then we always put this column. We say self dot price equals to new price equals to self dot price, then now times this now. So we need to get the discount, so we can just make it readable like this. So discount, assuming you're going to pass in maybe 0.1, 0.2, and then we return now the new price. Return self dot price as the final thing that we return here. So if you run this, okay, we are saying it says return, so I have to correct this to return. It's good to see some of these things. So looking at your errors is very important. It helps you to be able to understand what is going on with your code. So now let's instantiate two objects. So we can say there is a mech that we just brought in the warehouse, and then we want to store the values in the of this car. So we can say Mercedes. We are using now position arguments. We know that the first one is Mercedes brand, the second one is year, third one is price. So we are going to say Mercedes, and then now we say 2010, and then we say maybe 50,000. The next object we want to create is a Toyota we just bought. So we want to say the car brand is Toyota. 2015 is the year of production, and then we want to give it a value of maybe 40,000, for example. So I'm just using this for illustration. So now when we run this, we have now instantiated these two objects. So if you check, for example, mech.price, for example, you get this price. Like we tore up there, you can check the year, you get the year. Same as Toyota. So we've created two objects, just leveraging that class. It's very interesting. You don't need to write lots of code. You just use this class that is written once, and then you create even millions of objects, just changing the different inputs or parameters or arguments, whatever you're comfortable with. So now, how do we call now this change price method or this discount? So it is just like the methods that you've been seeing before. So we could say, let's just get the Toyota price. This was the price. Now I want to change the price. So we can call a Toyota dot change price function, which is that function up there. Okay, then you remember you have to make sure you get these braces on, and then now you give it a new price. So what is the new price that we want? We want to give it maybe a price of 45,000. So when we run this now, it is 45,000. And if we were to run this Toyota.price, let me just put it here so we follow through. It is now 45,000. So the price has moved from 40,000 to 45,000, because we call this method dot change price. So it's, if you remember, like your strings, when you get a string, you use dot upper, it takes the object and then it does that method on it, the dot change price. So you can also use the discount that you created. So you can say Toyota, then dot discount. So you want to call the discount function. So you want to discount it by a certain percentage. Let's just say 0.2. So when you run it now, you see that the new price now is 80% of this value. So that's the new Toyota price now because of the discount. So you've been able to see how you get these attributes, and then you can create your own methods, and then you can call this method. So it could be a package that you build, share out to people, and when people import your package now, they are able to do maybe card, create an object, then do card or change price, card or discount, card or sell, card or buy, card or whatever, and then you've created a package for other people to consume. So I hope you have been able to learn how to create your first class, and you've been able to appreciate the beauty of classes, methods in Python. So see you next video. Wish you good data luck.